Hello, it's Who Time, and on this occasion it's a review of a story that has its lovers and its haters, maybe slightly controversial in its treatment of the titular villains and the show's lore. It features the most infamous and instantly recognisable foe of the Doctor. Yes, it's the Daleks. It's going to be the Season 17 opener, Destiny of the Daleks. Now, as a kid, I loved these infamous pepper pots, wherever they trundled and, as the Seventh Doctor put it, stuck in
their grubby little protuberances.
I was a happy little chap, so revisiting this tale gives me that warm, fuzzy, nostalgic feeling. It's by no means a perfect tale, but it's lovable as it provides me boundless entertainment. So I'm a bit biased towards this one, but we'll go into the positives and the negatives of this story. Given that it's set on Skaro with the Daleks and has the return of Davros, this is effectively a sequel to Genesis of the Daleks. So is it a worthy sequel? Well, let's discuss. Spoiler alert, by the way. At the same time, this is from 1979, many decades ago, so you should have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it now. Right, I'm going to pop this down now. So, Destiny of the Daleks, kicking off season 17, this story very firmly establishes a much more light-hearted and comical tone for the rest of the series, and it kicks off right from the opening scene. So right from the off, K9 has started coughing. Apparently he has laryngitis. Obviously robots can get that.
How can a robot catch laryngitis? I mean, what do you need it for?
Nothing silly going on here. Also at the same time, Romana starts to regenerate several times in the space of a few minutes. Each time she regenerates, she seeks the Doctor's approval for her new look. Now, this is obviously one of the more controversial elements, since just a few seasons earlier, it was established that there is a regeneration limit. This was established in season 14's The Deadly Assassin, a much well-regarded classic. So there's only 13 regenerations, and in this episode, in this story, Romana decides to regenerate 5 times in the space of 5 minutes. That seems a little bit wasteful of your regenerations, since there is a limit. Obviously, the scene is just played for laughs. So Romana II starts off with the appearance of Princess Astra, a character seen in the preceding adventure, the Armageddon Factor, the last story of the Key to Time season 16. The Doctor doesn't approve of this since she's copying the body of someone else. That's a bit rich coming from him based on his future adventures. Then she goes off back into the cupboard and regenerates into a fish person, which kind of resembles those fish people in the Underwater Menace, the second Doctor story. After that, she regenerates into some large-bosomed lady in some sort of Arabian princess outfit with some fur scarf, to which the Doctor replies,
No, thank you. Not today.
She then regenerates again into a very tall Roman woman in a toga, and the Doctor says,
Too tall, take it away.
It's a great laugh. Finally, she returns to the form of Princess Astra. However, this time she's in an outfit that very much resembles the Doctor's outfit, and the Doctor approves, obviously focusing on the outfit rather than her face. Then this tongue-in-cheek adventure begins. Written by the creator of the Daleks himself, Terry Nation, this story boasts a strong, well-paced narrative. By the end of episode 1, we find out that our Gallifreyan duo are on Skaro, and we are introduced to the seemingly altruistic Movellans. As the tale unfolds, it's revealed that the Daleks are using slave labour on Skaro to retrieve Davros from the buried Khalid city, as their battle computer is stuck in a stalemate with the Movellans one, and they want Davros to provide a solution. The revelation of this stalemate and the Movellans' true nature isn't revealed until later in the story, which provides a satisfying twist. This all leads to a gratifying denouement where you have several events occurring at the same time. You have a battle sequence between the Daleks and the slave labour force. They're all rebelling, very nice. Romana II is fighting the last Movellan to stop the Nova device going off and killing all life on the planet. Also, you have the Doctor tricking Davros into detonating his Dalek attack squad early before it reaches the Movellan ship, and that has some very explosive results. At the same time, I'll take off my rose-tinted glasses for a moment and admit there are a few issues in this story, and they mostly lie with the Daleks themselves. For a start, the Dalek props are clearly battered and worn, haven't been installed very well. Plus, the Daleks aren't really portrayed as the menacing beings that they're meant to be. The Doctor doesn't find them scary at all. He makes a fool out of the Daleks just disappearing up a ventilation shaft.
If you're supposed to be the superior race of the universe, why don't you try climbing after us? Bye-bye!
He also dispatches a Dalek like this.
No offense meant at all.
He's even condescending to the creator, Davros. He literally pushes him around the entire Khalid city.
Quick, back this way!
Last but not least, the very being and essence of the Daleks is misrepresented here in Destiny of the Daleks. This is certainly one of the controversial elements of the story, as there are many references to the Daleks being robots rather than mutated organics within casings. Now this is even more surprising given that the creator of the Daleks, Terry Nation, was on writing duties here. How on earth has he just completely changed what the Daleks are? He created them, for goodness sake, as mutated organics in casings. At least there's that bit where the Doctor picks up some Dalek mutant goop. So, you know, there's still that in there. There are a few other production-related niggles in this story as well. For a start, the face mask for Davros, played by David Gooderson in this story, clearly doesn't fit the actor's face. It was made for Michael Wisher, who was in Genesis of the Daleks, and they clearly just reused it and then tried to stick it onto David Gooderson's face. The bunker set in which Davros is trapped in his slumber is also visually cheap-looking and wobbly, unlike the original Genesis of the Daleks set, which was pretty good. Similarly enough are the Movellans costumes, which are skin-tight white costumes with dreadlock-type wigs. They hardly exude menace or seem like a worthy adversary to the Daleks, dressed like that. Quite the opposite, in fact. Actually, when I was younger, I actually fancied one of them. This one. Still works for me. Production-wise, it's not all bad. Some of the sets are actually quite impressive, like the Dalek control room. That's pretty good. The interior of the Movellan spacecraft, that's well designed and well realised. The Dorset Quarry also aptly fulfills its purpose as a barren landscape for Skaro. The scene where Romana kicks off that Movellan's arm is actually nicely done as well. That looks pretty good. And of course, the exploding Daleks are done perfectly. Turning to the cast, Tom Baker is on fine comedic form, being an absolute hoot. You simply can't fail to be entertained by him, even if he is making an absolute mockery of the Daleks. If you're yearning for the fourth Doctor from seasons 12, 13 and 14, he's long gone. At this point, Tom Baker had injected a lot more daft humour into the role. I still very much enjoy his performance in this, but there is a strong argument to be made that this is non-peak Baker. As for Lalla Ward, she makes a great intellectual equal to the Doctor as Romana II. She pulls off these Gallifreyan tricks like stopping her hearts and determining the makeup of the soil by taste. Very nice. That's something David Tennant does as well in future episodes. She also has a great dynamic with Tom Baker, because you can see that the seeds are being sown for their real-life marriage. I think that comes a year later. As for Davros, played by David Gooderson, he puts in a suitably evil and maniacal performance, which is a tough job considering that he has this ill-fitting mask to work with, and he's also following the much celebrated performance by Michael Wisher as Davros in Genesis of the Daleks. I'm a fan of his Davros, actually. I've got his autograph twice, bizarrely. Once is on my shelf here, where a little plaque came with his signature, along with the Destiny of the Daleks figure set. You got Tom, Davros and 2 Daleks. It's very nice. I also met him at the Gathering 2019, where us fans all tried to break the world record for the largest number of Dalek props and people dressed as Daleks in one place. There will be a video on that at some point, so keep an eye out, because we're going to try and go to the next one, which hopefully happens this year, November 2020. Well, here's the signature. It says, "To Andrew, best wishes, David Gooderson." Very nice. I'll show you the picture as well, but shortly after I went to that convention, my phone ended up in the washing machine and met a bitter end. Anyway, I digress. Also worth mentioning is the actor called Tim Barley, who plays the supporting character called Tisson, a starship engineer. This actor was in fact deaf, so he had to lip read and take cues off other actors so he knew when to speak. So he actually did a really good job. You can't tell in the story, so big praise to Tim. Really, all in all, despite its myriad issues, Destiny of the Daleks is a good solid instalment for me. Of course, it never reaches the heights of Genesis of the Daleks, but it was never intended to, and how could it? Genesis of the Daleks was voted #1 Doctor Who story for many years in the Doctor Who magazine. Don't fancy that competition. Destiny is simply just a good fun romp that puts a smile on your face. Being part of season 17, this is about as silly and daft as Doctor Who ever got. Arguably season 24 or Aliens of London / World War III two-parter or the start of series 2 New Earth come quite close. You can also really see the influence of Douglas Adams, the writer of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You can see his influence on the script because he was script editor at the time. So you get this great comedic, humorous dialogue and interplay between certain characters. In season 18 of Classic Who, you get a new executive producer of John Nathan Turner, and the show takes a much more somber turn for Tom Baker's final season. But for now, you've got Kamikaze Daleks. How awesome is that? If you prefer your Who to be serious and clever, then I'd stay well clear. Also, if you don't like a story playing fast and loose with the established lore, this won't tickle your fancy. Basically, I only recommend it if you fancy a fun watch and a good laugh. Pretty much like most of season 17. Well, thanks for watching. Obviously, don't forget to like and comment, and click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, click on that bell for notifications. You can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @WhoTimeUK. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye!